Well, it's day 3 of MSI coverage brought to you by Alienware, and I'm joined right now by Kaiser after a snooze fest of a game against Pain Gaming. No, I'm just kidding. A wild, wild match. So before that match, you tweeted 7-1, a reference to, for North Americans that don't know, because I had to be told, a reference to the 2014 record against Brazil when Germany played them. Were you nervous at all about that very confident tweet as that game progressed?
I mean, to be honest, I was a bit nervous because, of course, like those kind of tweets can always backfire, right? And it was not. I mean, I'm not usually the kind of guy who like does these and like kind of fires shots. But I mean, it was just an obvious setup because in Europe, like the 7-1 will never be forgotten. Is really known. So it was just like really obvious to me that I, as a German, had to do it. And of course, like in the middle of the game, it was like kind of shaky. We were like kind of losing, and I was like maybe even regretting my tweet, but of course I can't go back on it. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy that it worked out in the end,
Yeah.
even though it wasn't a stomp like Germany versus Brazilian football was.
Okay, so sometimes when I talk to players after a game like that, especially whenever it's a match that, like, I think people would have considered that an upset if you had lost. So sometimes when I talk to players after a game like that, they're like, that was awful. I just want to go to my hotel room and be done with today. But sometimes they like, that was really fun. So I'm kind of curious. You seem to be in good spirits. What is sort of your reaction to everything?
Well, I mean, I think it's a bit of both, to be honest. Like, it was a really, really exhausting game because, like, I mean, we had like 2 backdoor attempts, I think, and we had no engage. So it was like 20 minutes of us trying to engage, but them like pulling back and then like out split pushing us. Like, I think that's like the most kind of like the most stressful game you can have in League is like being split pushed on. Because you have to make something happen, and like we didn't really have the team come to make something happen, so it was like really, really stressful for us. So yeah, in a way, I kind of want to just go back and chill, like go back into the hotel and just chill, like maybe rewatch the game, maybe not, because it was, to be fair, like kind of not a very fun game to play and watch. So yeah, I mean, we'll see.
So I mean, I was going to ask too because after a game like that, the question is always like, all right, was that Payne playing way better than people expected them to, or was that Mad Lions maybe having a bit of a sloppy match? So I'm kind of curious from your perspective, which direction is that meter on?
I mean, honestly, like in these kind of scenarios, it's always like both things. I would say like Payne played better than we expected because they played the map really well. I think, like for example, the Camille, like we didn't expect her to just like not respect us at all and like just completely split push the game. I mean, they kind of identified their win condition really well and they executed on it. Like the Jinx was getting really fed. Like even after the shaky early game that they had, they just completely. Cross mapped us in the mid game, which I mean, to be fair, that was like our mistake. We shouldn't have let happen, but they played it really well. The Zoe was like getting so many bubbles and like so many chunks on us, so we couldn't really force anything. The Tam Kench played really well. Like he didn't really get hooked or like caught out, like so many other Tam Kenches would. And I think I have to commend them for sure, but because like they just played really well to their win condition and like almost pulled it through after this early game. But I mean, honestly, like we didn't play too well. I mean, I would say our draft was mostly the problem. I would say like because we didn't really have any engage. We didn't really have like anything that like can just like go like a Nautilus, because I was like stuck on Thresh. So and we had Morgana jungle, we had like Kog'Maw mid lane who wants like who both won like frontline, and Lee Sin is not really the biggest frontline either. So I think from our side, even though we didn't play that well, I think it was mostly the draft that made it hard for us.
What was going through your mind in that final moment as they were in your base and your Nexus got down to like 30% or something?
I mean, I was actually calculating it a bit because I knew that after Jinx died, Zoe couldn't really end the game. But of course, like my heart like kind of stopped because I was like Olaf was stopping our recalls at Dragon. I think if they maybe even played it a bit better, I think Camille died beforehand. Maybe they could have even ended the game. So it was actually like really, really close. I think they like if they played it better or like if we played it a bit worse, maybe they could have ended for sure. And of course, like as a player, it's just really stressful because especially if you're the one recalling or trying to recall, the game is not really in your hands, right? So you have to pray that your teammates just hit their skill shots, and luckily they did.
I know, for those that don't know, we're recording this just moments after the game. Are there any players that in that game that you can think of right now that like really earned your respect on their team, or anybody that you're like, oh man, that they were like a huge threat throughout this match?
I mean, I would say their mid laner played really well. I think the Zoe was so like annoying every single time. Like I couldn't even like really hook him. Like because usually like what bad Zoes do, they just hook into your face and then you just hook them back and they kind of die, you know. But he was like playing really well. Like he played with vision. He played with like cleanse, for example, as well. Like he had spellbook, so he could always like when he was going for these aggressive jump ins, he would always have cleanse. So even if I hooked him, it wouldn't really matter. So I think he deserves a lot of commendation, I guess, because he throughout the game like just played like a really clean Zoe. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so it's funny because yesterday I spoke with your teammate Elioya. I asked him about the format, and he said, you know, that he wasn't necessarily sure if he was a fan of the format because all these games go in such a predicted way. And then obviously we get really close to this. So, one, I'm curious: do you share his thoughts, or do you think that this game? I don't know how much you saw the Dan game. You know, if these things are validating the idea that these minor regions can be competitive with the major regions.
I mean, I think for sure. I think the format is like for sure fine for me. I think like these matches actually like are more hyped than like even. I mean, I would say like from third place minor region or like major region against like first place major region because even though you kind of know the outcome as well. For example, it was we kind of saw that. Like it's still like kind of fun to watch and like especially wildcard teams they have more support from their fans than even like third place EU teams or third place NA teams, right? And that makes it even more fun because like there's so much at stake and like there's so much like blood, blood and tears, I guess, and like just hard blood from the fans coming into it. And I mean, you see it in Brazil, in Turkey, right? They support their teams so much, and like even getting one win is like means so much for them. So I really love this format because it makes like or like gives minor regions opportunities to like show how good they are and like how much they improved, right? And I think you can kind of see that they're not really that far off actually, and like a bad draft can maybe like even turn the table, right? And like Damon almost lost, Wheel almost lost, so I think you can for sure see that they are not like iron level or something, right? Like
Yeah.
some people are always saying. So yeah, I think they deserve a lot more respect than they are currently getting.
I'm kind of curious because I've talked to some of your teammates and others have as well, and there's been a kind of conversation around Mad Lions, at least some of the members, feeling a lot of pressure to do really well for EU, given one the world's performance previously, and also just the fact that you guys are not G2 and you're not Fnatic, and I think a lot of people really are wondering what's going to happen. So I'm curious for you personally, what have you been feeling at this event?
I mean, honestly, I don't think I feel that much pressure. I just want to like enjoy. I mean, I'm not gonna say it like Kazi. He's because I think he worded it like we're just here to have fun and just like play our game, right? I mean, I'm not gonna say that because like of course like it's our job and our duty to like represent Europe, right? And play our best. But I think just like pressuring yourself is not gonna help you like perform, or at least me. So I just like try to like play my game and like have like fun in game as well because I think when you're having fun you're always performing better than usual, and especially in our team I think having fun is like one of the most important factors because then we just play so much better as a team, we function better, we communicate better, and I think that's really important. So I don't try to pressure myself too much, even though like our last Worlds performance was not the greatest, right? I mean, we swapped two players, we won LEC. I think we don't really have that much to prove. I think like I mean, of course, like we still have to beat like Damwon, RNG, stuff like this, right? I mean, there's no way around that if we make it out of groups. But I think right now with our current form, if we play correctly, if we draft correctly, I think we have a pretty good chance at beating them.
Okay, I have to ask this one last question. I have to sneak it in because a lot of my audience is North America. There's a lot of people who are nervous for Cloud9 right now. So I'm curious what you think as a player at this event. How in trouble is Cloud9?
It's really hard to say. Like we played against them a bit in training, and I think they played actually at a really high level. So I was actually really surprised by NA in general in scrims. But I mean, it doesn't seem like they can translate some of their results into stage games. I think maybe some of their drafts have not been the greatest. Like I think, like for example, the jungle meta shifted a bit, and they're still looking for like these Nidalee kind of picks, Kindred kind of picks. I don't think they work out that well right now. I think you should maybe look for like Udyr, Rumble, Morgana, stuff like this, right? The basics. So maybe they should rethink some of their drafts. I think if they can do that, and if they can like play more, I think just play a better early game, I guess, because like most of their games just they get run over in early game or like just make 1 or 2 mistakes. I think some of these games can be easily salvaged if they don't do these mistakes. And then I mean, I think C9 is still a really good team. I think their bot lane, especially like Perks, of course, as well. He's a bit of a legend in the EU, right? So I think they have the potential for sure to still upset some teams.
Well, we're over time, so we have to wrap this up quick. But anything you want to say to any of the fans out there?
I mean, just a big thank you for supporting us. We've like gotten so much hate afterwards, and you guys building us up again and supporting us all the way through to our LEC win. It's just a really nice feeling to have, and thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much for the interview. Really appreciate it. Great game today. Really fun to watch. And for everyone else, you can check out the rest of my coverage of all things MSI right here on my YouTube channel. Did you know that approximately 8 days before my birthday, May 11th, Alienware is announcing something huge? That's right. My birthday is May 19th, and I'm only telling you that so that you know that Alienware is announcing something great on May 11th, right? It's not about my birthday, again, May 19th. It's about Alienware's announcement on May 11th. And I just want all of us to be focused on their announcement May 11th, not my birthday on May 19th, because I know a lot of people might want to be focused on my birthday being May 19th, but May 11th is the big Alienware announcement, okay? So just stay tuned to that. And then after May 11th, you can maybe start thinking about my birthday, which, again, is May 19th.